Remember the Gimmighoul that snuck onto the Brave Olivine at the end of episode 102? Well, it turns out that it's going to be very relevant a lot sooner than we expected. We all knew that it would play a key role eventually, right? But I'm sure most, if not all of us, did not think that it would be this soon, and certainly not that it would freaking evolve this soon as well, and more importantly, before someone catches it. So, episode 105 will be a beach episode, an anime staple and perfect given that we are currently in the season for this kind of episode, summer. But it won't just be any beach episode. It will have a focus on surfing, which is perfect for Gholdengo, given that one of its most notable traits is that it can surf. Its Japanese name is even Surfugo. So if there was ever a time for a Gimmighoul to evolve, this is it. Especially since it seems there will be a surfing competition that I'm willing to bet Gholdengo will go on to win, solo or alongside whoever catches it. Moreover, I mean, just look at it. It's clearly ready to surf. It's already embracing this identity. Though of course, in the games, Gimmighoul doesn't need anything related to surfing in order to evolve. Instead, it only needs to level up while the player has 999 Gimmighoul coins in their possession. Clearly, all the coin gathering it had other people, including Liko and friends, do at its behest, will finally pay off in this episode. It's hilarious that clearly it will evolve because one of its coins will fall into the ocean and it will jump in after it, evolving by braving the waves to retrieve presumably the 999th coin is just perfect. Now, like I alluded to earlier, it's highly likely that someone will catch Gholdengo. After all, it is a recurring Pokemon, and the recurring Pokemon almost always end up being captured by a main character. Gimmighoul first appeared all the way back in episode 57. Having a main character catch it is the only reason why they would have it return 45 episodes later, right? No way they brought it back just to be another wild Pokemon that travels with the Rising Bolt Tacklers, or to have, say, Murdoch, who is a supporting character and will also appear in this episode, catch it. Especially when they even had it stowaway on the Brave Olivine at the end of the episode in which it returned, episode 102. It even appeared briefly in the following episode, episode 103, where it had a bunch of random people gather more coins for it without Liko and friends knowing. And now it returns yet again, just 2 episodes later, to evolve. This time with Liko and friends being fully aware of its presence. There is just no way in my mind that all this setup doesn't lead into it being captured by someone. Especially when Charcadet also first appeared in episode 57 and it also returned in episode 102, and it was captured by Liko. So I firmly believe that it will happen. The question is, who will catch it? Well, it can only be Roy, Dot, or Uruto, right? Since again, Liko just caught Charcadet. No way she's getting another capture so soon. But while we can easily narrow it down to Roy, Dot, and Uruto, it is basically impossible to narrow it down to just one of them, since there are valid reasons for and against each of them getting Gholdengo. Let's start with Roy. A lot of people, myself included, have wanted to see Roy with a Gholdengo for a while. Mostly because Gholdengo is a social Pokemon that gets along with just about anyone and is capable of befriending anybody quickly. This matches Roy perfectly, not to mention that Gholdengo just looks like a Pokemon that is always having fun with a lot of energy. This also suits Roy wonderfully. So out of the 3 characters, Roy is the best fit for Gholdengo. Hence why it's not surprising that in the 2 polls I've made asking who will catch it, Roy has the most votes. However, there are 2 big reasons why he is also not the best candidate to catch it. First, he already has a steel type, Lucario, and once Crocalor evolves, he will have a ghost type as well. These are Gholdengo's two types. While type overlap in a main character's team is not uncommon, I mean, even Liko will likely end up with more than one Pokemon of the same type, aka two psychic types. Variety is generally the preferred option, right? Second, speaking of Lucario, while we did not see Roy catch it, it does not change the fact that he has 3 Pokemon. One more than Dot and 2 more than Uruto, at least as far as we know. Only Liko has more Pokemon than Roy, and since his Lucario made its debut at the end of episode 89, it wasn't that long ago that his team was expanded. Therefore, Dot and Uruto are more deserving of being the next one to get a capture and expand their team. Moving on to Dot, like Roy, type overlap is an issue for her since she already has a steel type as well, Tinkatuff. However, she would be overlapping one less type than Roy, so this parameter affects her less. Moreover, like I mentioned earlier, she has 1 less Pokemon than Roy and 2 less than Liko, so she deserves to be the next one to catch a Pokemon, even over Uruto, who has less Pokemon than even her, again as far as we know, because she has been around for much longer. Her team needs a shake-up, a new face more than his team. Uruto has only been around for 15 episodes as of this episode. He can stay with just Sableye for a little longer. Dot, meanwhile, has been around since basically the start of this series, and her last capture was 66 episodes ago as of episode 105. So honestly, she deserves this capture more than Roy does on this merit alone. However, at the same time, she also does not suit Gholdengo as much as he does, because as an introvert, her personality is basically the opposite of Gholdengo's. So he deserves Gholdengo more than her on this merit alone. Granted, partnering together a trainer and Pokemon with opposite personalities is interesting. It can make for a cool and compelling dynamic as they try to get along despite being so different. Gholdengo might even help Dot be more extroverted, and it would be a great addition to any livestream with its energetic and positive personality. What really gives Dot an advantage in this Gholdengo contest, however, is story relevance. As you probably know very well, the character that plays the biggest role in an episode where there is a Pokemon to be caught ends up being the character who captures the Pokemon in question. As it should be, right? Since the character who is involved the most in the episode where there is a capture is likely the one who bonded with the Pokemon the most, who did the most for it, who earned the right to catch it the most. The preview shows Dot surfing with Gimmighoul on her surfboard, with it even adorably seemingly mimicking her or trying to teach her how to surf, presumably moments before it evolves. So it will likely evolve after being close to her, suggesting she will be the one who interacts with it the most. In fact, we don't see anyone else with it in the preview. And Gimmighoul imitating her or trying to help her indicates the presence of a bond between them that will be built in this episode. Moreover, in the preview, I'm pretty sure she is heard gathering coins at its behest, with Roy snapping her out of it. Having her gather presumably the last few coins it needs to evolve would place her in prime position to be the one most deserving of catching it. Not to mention, this means she will be the one who is forced to deal with its shenanigans the most, which only makes her look even more like the potential winner of this edition of Who Will Catch That Pokemon. Finally, we have Uruto. Like Roy and Dot, type overlap is also working against him since Sableye is a ghost type. But like Dot, it's only one type as opposed to 2 like Roy. So based on this parameter alone, he has an edge over Roy and is tied with Dot. In terms of personality, I would put him right in the middle. Certainly more outspoken and outgoing than Dot, but less than Roy on account of his aversion to women. Since he doesn't fit Gholdengo the most, nor is he the one most unlike it, I would say that he is the one least likely to catch it based on this parameter alone. However, like Dot and unlike Roy, he has story relevance on his side, because the title of the next episode, episode 106, is mega awesome, The Unopenable Dusk Ball. This episode will obviously focus on Uruto, right? He's the one who adds mega to almost everything he says, and he's the one who has a dusk ball that is clearly special. Him capturing Gholdengo in episode 105, perhaps with the dusk ball in question, only to then have episode 106 focus on him, the dusk ball, and Gholdengo does make sense. Though the unopenable part indicates that currently the dusk ball cannot be opened, much like Rayquaza's ancient Pokeball near the beginning of this series. So Uruto likely cannot use it to catch Gholdengo, unless he catches it and then the dusk ball is sealed shut, which is possible. Episode 106 would then focus on getting it open. He could also catch Gholdengo with another Pokeball, and then it can help solve the mystery of the dusk ball that won't open. But speaking of Rayquaza, Uruto's Dusk Ball could be like the ancient Pokeball. It might house some special Pokemon, meaning that Uruto actually has two Pokemon like Dot, and said the second Pokemon might debut in episode 106, which means I don't think Uruto will catch Gholdengo. No way he catches a Pokemon one episode, then has another one revealed in the following episode. Plus, having two back-to-back episodes of Focus where he does something special might be too much. So honestly, I think that Uruto is out of this contest. Finally, this episode will also feature a subplot, I guess, which may or may not tie into the Gholdengo side of things. This subplot involves Amethio and Ludlow, surprisingly. This is an interesting pairing, especially considering that episode 104 ended with Amethio flying into the sunset with the Zygarde cube and a renewed sense of purpose, aiming to find his own way to battle Spino. How he goes from this to seemingly being trapped in a cavern with Ludlow is anyone's guess. Amethio is about to go from a character-focused, narrative-rich episode into what appears to be random filler. Quite the change. Stranger still, they will apparently make curry. Cerulege is seen slicing a carrot, and then it, Amethio, and Corbinite stare at what can only be a bowl of curry. We also see Corbinite, for whatever reason, unleashing a gust of wind towards Amethio and Ludlow. Since Amethio's jacket is hanging behind them, perhaps Corbinite is trying to be a sentient hairdryer for wet clothes, suggesting they might indeed be stranded or stuck here after some sort of accident. Amethio just can't catch a break, huh? He went from being trapped on an island to now being trapped in a cave. The most interesting part of this subplot, however, is that Ludlow will assume his Mighty G form, and it seems that it will fail him. Which is not surprising, since he himself has said several times in several episodes that he cannot maintain this form for as long as he used to. His ability to do so has been on the decline, and since the last time he said this was before the year time skip, one can only assume that his condition has only deteriorated further. Could this be Mighty G's last hurrah? Perhaps, but hopefully it's not. So, unlike with Liko and the Shark Cadet, we don't know for sure if someone will catch Gholdengo, though again, I strongly believe that this will happen, and if someone does catch it, we don't know who it might be. I did my best to make an accurate prediction based on everything we've got, and I think Dot looks like the most likely candidate. However, I cannot discard Roy or even Uruto. Moreover, while the Amethio and Ludlow side of the episode might seem inconsequential, it could determine the future of Mighty G. So this episode definitely has the potential to be something special, though of course we won't know for sure what will happen until the episode airs on August 8th. It goes without saying that I am very much looking forward to it, and I will review it after it airs, so please look forward to that. Also, I want to know your thoughts in the comments. Will someone catch Gholdengo, and if so, who and why? If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, feel free to click the links on screen. And if you'd like to support the channel and help me keep making content like this, you can find all the ways to do so in the description and in the pinned comment. Whether it's through a small donation or just watching and sharing, every bit of support means the world to me. Thank you so very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.